The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
You know, you could fish and chips this. You could absolutely go for, I don't even know. I feel bad trying to make fun of British people considering that Ozzy Osbourne's funeral was today. So I'm going to leave that one out there because I'm sure that Corey would have a good British accent to be found, but he's not here. Instead, you're stuck with Brad and Patrick, and I argue we're the better pair to be stuck with. So, Corey, if you're watching, sorry, not sorry, but here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, it is another week, another round, another bit of action here in Elbows Out Racing. It is halfway through the season. There it is. I was like, how far in the season are we? We're halfway through this season. So this is where things start to get fun. We're now into the back half. Silverstone's here, Long Beach. I mean, there's so many good things that we can talk about with this season that have gone on. But I mean, this has just been a show and I've enjoyed it. Welcome everybody to Elbows Out Racing here on PTR TV for this week's round. This is going to be another great broadcast and I can't wait to get to bring it to you. Patrick, good evening, my friend. How are you?
I am slightly upset that I couldn't do a good British accent in time for this, but otherwise, I am absolutely fantastic. We are here with a fantastic league with Elbows Out Racing, a fantastic track with Silverstone, and a bunch of very fantastic drivers here in this extremely stacked grid tonight. I mean, I know we haven't talked about the grid yet, but 16 LMP2s are here tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a wild little grid to get set up. And while we get the grid set up, I tell you what, why don't we run down the grid here? But before we do that, this is, of course, week number 4 here coming through. And where we're at is, or not week 4, this is week number 7. Golly, time flies. This is the Complacency Kill 60 here at Silverstone, brought to you by International Decorators, Inc. Build something worth owning. And be sure to check out www.4idi.com for more info on them because they have been amazing enough to support the league here as well the grid drone decided it didn't want a grid drone, so we'll figure out where everyone's hiding on this track. There we go. So it's a short grid, so we're going to run through this one really quick. Again, a lot of cars to go through. It's Alex Caruso. That's a new name up front. Challenging Antonio Costa. Luke Patrick in P3 with return to the Mac. Eric Mack in P4. Kel Hagen in P number 5. And Cody Peredato in P number 6. Kel Oroz in P7. Max Poe. Hugo Ortiz. Aiden Garcia. Morgan Smith. And then Fozzie Fazillo, and I tell you what, Fozzie Fazillo, I said this right before we went live. I said, where in the world do I know this driver from? Because I know this driver from somewhere, and I couldn't tell you where, but he's got a good-looking car, and I'm a little envious of his paint scheme, but I still think I have the best paint scheme on the track here. From there, from Fozzie Fazillo, we go Bob Carey and Brendan McManus. And then from there, it is going to be Austin Diltz and Zach Tebow are your 16 LMP2s taking on this run. In GT3 Pro, real quick, we'll go through the 13 drivers taking this on. Peter Nodwell, Jean McLuhan, Colin Bourdon, Paul Nye Sr., Tyler Stenick, Julius Mashevsky. From there, we're going to go Tyler Cook, Martin Merkfa, Chris Stewart, Zachary Nerney, Brian Metterly, Emily Milkey. From there, Joel Bandera, the last one to go. And then in GT3 AMs, let's talk about the 19 GT3 AMs here. Ethan Murphy, Nathan Epperly, Christopher Ondera, Seth Bosselman, Maxwell Woodman C, Matthew Santerciero, Dayton McGuire, Jonathan Lanton, Aiden Toohey, David Moore, Kyle O'Grady, Andre Wedderburn, Daniel Pinero, Matt Toppin, Parker Chiapuzzo, Benjamin Bechtel, Dwight Hibbs, Christopher Ondera, and Philip Kieser. So would you look at that? We got through every driver at least once, and Brendan McManus has decided to become Team PTR TV. So just saying, Brendan, I know this is your first time here on the LMP2 and iRacing. You better do good because you got a doggone looking car, good looking car to support here. Cars are going to come around the start-finish line here quickly. They're going to get through. Alex Caruso leads them down the line. LMP2s are underway here in Elbows Out Racing, and it's a clean get away from them. Back in the background, GT3s are getting away as well. We'll check in on how they're doing here momentarily as everyone heads down through turn 1, turn 2, and everyone is doing quite good. Again, Silverstone, a track that you don't know by corner numbers, you know it by corner names. So if you don't know it, well, you're going to learn it here tonight. As we see the GT3s getting away here. Colin Bourdon, great dive up the inside, down into the first corner. He gets away very, very well. Going through all of the GT3s, getting through without too much drama. Back in the back, it's 2 wide, 3 wide, trying to move around. Everybody trying to find some sort of position where they can, while they can. And sometimes that is easier said than done here in Elbows Out when you have so many cars jockeying for position, but everyone's gotten away well. No teammates into teammates, nothing dramatic happening yet. And as I say it, that is going to be a cart off into the grass. That's multiple cars off into the grass. Jonathan Lanton in the mix as well. David Moore is getting away. Dwight Hibbs in the background going off. Philip Kieser is going through. So multiple cars getting their way through and ending up in the mix here. The GT3s having big moments. And it's LMP2 off hard in the background.
Oh yeah, you were just saying that everything was pretty clean so far, but quite a bit of contact here and quite a few cars going a bit into the runoff there as we kick off this race. We're not even a lap in to this race here at Silverstone. It is a long lap though, but it is also a very high-speed track for the most part. You take a lot of these corners through with pretty high speeds as we go through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel Curve in these LMP2s. Now these things do have quite a good amount of downforce, but even then it is very easy for you to lose it as we see a LMP2 car go a bit up and beyond, using the little curve there as a ramp. I know we've talked about our disliking of those particular types of curves, but man, pretty dramatic start here to kick off Silverstone.
That is a heck of a way to kick things off, honestly. It is impressive to see how things go, how things can go so upside down so quick, but honestly, after lap number 1, things will stabilize a little bit and be just fine. I mean, wow. We'll get some replays here queued up momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. Checking back in here, Paul Nye Sr. battling it out with Julius Mashevsky and getting his pass through.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good overtaking spots here on this track here at Silverstone, so you really got to pick your moment. Obviously, you got to go ahead and build an overtake worth remembering to get a good move done here. But, I mean, for the most part, there's a lot of good overtake here. I mean, you can get a move done going down to Hamilton straight, going into Abbey, and then obviously right off Chapel Curve, you have the massive hanger straight to go ahead and get a good pass on, good slipstream. And then even after Woodcote, too, you have just so many options when it comes to getting a good run and getting a good chance to make that overtake happen. We also got to think about this in terms of the LMP2s as we cut to them on camera now. Seeing some fantastic driving here. They're going through, you can see that even just being on board on this track is such a beautiful viewing experience as we are riding on board with Kjell Haugen here as he is currently in P4, trying to catch up to the top 3, which includes Luke Patrick, Antonio Costa, and Alex Caruso. Now, I don't know about you, but I love the fact that we're seeing a new name at the top of the times for LMP2 tonight.
Yeah, this mid-season interjection here of drivers that have showed up to show out. I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan of when some new names show up and kind of put the old dogs on watch and say, "Hey, I know you usually run things around here, but just remember, there's always someone faster. There's always someone just as good, possibly better, that you have to watch out for." And I do enjoy it when that comes up. Now, I don't want to keep anyone waiting on turn one, lap one incidents. So we're going to hide the overlay here. We're going to go back. So this is Zach Nerney. This is what kind of caught my attention because this was going down the Wellington straight, and he had ran off the track there. Behind him, Jonathan Lanton was also off circuit as well, and I have a feeling that for Nerney, he just needed out of it. That's what happened to Lanton, though. Lanton, with a big moment there, slams the wall there in the Hoonigan Beamer going through, and, well, that is unfortunately all it wrote for him. And then for Eric Mack, well, this is the return of the Mack to elbows out. Big wiggle going out of Cop's corner. A no side-by-side through Cop's corner. That was just purely on his own. Let's get it one more time from a good onboard shot. And, well, you can see just trying to catch it where he can, and then he backs it into the wall here. Going through a few more incidents we missed. Matthew Santasiero had a moment early on here where the rear end became the driver's side of the car. Benjamin Bechtel had a little bit of a moment as well coming through. A bit of a love tap there to the inside, taking Benjamin Bechtel around. And then Morgan Smith here. I was complimenting this paint scheme earlier, and, well, Morgan managing to Tokyo drift this around. Nathan Hemperly has had a moment, and oh, that's not what you want to see from Hemperly coming through. Tap to the rear. I believe that was actually his teammate coming through, and tap to the rear, took out Hemperly out. And that is all the moments we've had so far. We go back to live pictures now, and this is where things set as it stands. Alex Caruso up in the front by a second and a half with a dominating run here in LMP2. Further behind here, I want to focus on P4 and LMP2 for a moment as they head down the Wellington straight. This is Peridotto, Hagen going through. Bob Carey is now into the pits. Bob Carey has opted for a pit stop 7 minutes into the race. Patrick, that is brave.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's related to any kind of damage or not, because as we're going through replays, he didn't have any moments that we have seen. Eric Mack was the LMP2 that had a moment there. Big Mac having not the biggest return here to Elbows Out Racing, but something I do want to point out, with Alex Caruso dominating this field at the moment, it's still, I mean, anything can happen in Elbows Out Racing, especially once traffic gets involved. But right now, the team of Cody Peridotto and Antonio Costa have built a lead worth remembering here in this championship. But with this mid-season injection of drivers, as you called it, and I mean, with two of them being on the podium so far, I mean, this whole season can get spiced up really quickly.
That it can, and I absolutely love it when I see a season mix up, get spiced up, and go through. The points are definitely in an interesting position as well, which I think is going to be one to watch here with these new drivers being injected getting into the back half of the season. I think that's going to be something to watch as well. If you are joining us on YouTube, first off, welcome in, and thank you for being here. We do genuinely appreciate everyone tuning in week after week for this series that, well, I know that PTR TV usually runs oval stuff, but I've really taken a love to Elbows Out Racing, and I'm very happy to have them on the channel. There are some fun things behind the scenes that I can't tell you about, but just know that it'll be announced in due time. But
wow, you're teasing all of us here with that one.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. It's so much fun. I can't tell all the secrets all the time, you know. I got to just hold on to what I got every once in a while. So that's what makes things, you know, really exciting whenever you're in the head booth or in the head seat. You kind of get to know the secrets before they happen, before you can announce them.
Yeah, that's honestly pretty fair. I mean, that's probably one of the most fun parts about being the head of things. It's just you have those little tiny secrets that you're like, I have plans that I cannot share with you right now. That's got to be probably one of the best feelings in the world. And then you reveal it, and everybody just absolutely loves it.
It's so much fun here. I tell you who's loving to be on the head of things right now, Peter Nodwell. I feel like that's a name we've said that's been up front a lot this season, but Peter Nodwell currently leading laps here in the GT3 Pros going through. And again, the Pros, you can denote the Pros versus the AM in two ways. First, the red and white numbers versus the green and white numbers. Second, they do have the letter P in front of their names. So if you're ever wondering if we're on board with a GT3 or you're looking for your favorite driver and you're wondering if they're Pro or AM, that's the easiest way to designate who is whom as they go through. Peter Nodwell currently in the lead here by about 2 seconds, all the way back to Colin Bourdon, who has Jean McLuhan there in third place for company coming through Maggots and Beckett's out of Chapel. Now down the Hanger Straight we're going to go, and this is where we go underneath the Johnny Walker Bridge. Now we're going to head down into Stowe Corner, down towards Vale. Nail this corner in the GT3s. Make sure you're really conserving momentum. You're running it through. Not a lot of elevation change here at Silverstone, so it really is about forcing that momentum through. Hard on the brakes down into Club Corner, and now coming through out onto the Lewis Hamilton straightaway we go. And this is about half a lap of Silverstone going through.
Yeah, I mean, especially compared to Canada 2 weeks back, this is a pretty long circuit. It's probably the second longest circuit. I'll have to crunch numbers at some point, but this is one of the longer circuits that we will visit. It is 3.36 miles around, 3.66 miles around, 5.89 kilometers. And I mean, there's never really a boring part of this circuit. Like you said, each corner has its own unique twist and challenge to it. Like you talked about earlier, going through Vale, you got to really keep that momentum going and use it at the right time. And then there's other corners too that if you use too much throttle, you're going to do what Eric Mack did earlier and just spin off into the gravel, into a wall. But once again, with all those opportunities to make mistakes, there's also a ton of opportunities to go ahead and get some really good passes done, and also just opportunities for some of the most fantastic racing that you'll ever see. And that's a pretty high bar considering we're back with Elbows Out Racing.
It absolutely is a high bar, but somehow managing to be hit here as we go through and just follow around this lap corner by corner as they go. Again, now down into Maggots and Beckett's out of Chapel. They've came through Cops Corner. You can see the GT3s holding that single file line right now. They don't want to kind of step out incorrectly. They don't want to do anything wrong here, because if they're not very confident in the pass, it can prove a problem here. Up front, we still have Kel Hagen leading Max Poe and Kel Oroz here in P5, 6, 7, respectively, in the LMP2 category. A couple of more moments we've missed here while we've been following the GT3s around. We're going to go to replays for just a moment here, ladies and gentlemen. Aiden Tui. Well, this Tui has said Kapui and went around there with a bit of help, I'd argue. Dwight Hibbs trying to go side-by-side through Cops Corner, and, well, that's what happens when you go side-by-side through Cops Corner. And who was that with? I'm not sure who that was with.
I think that was Benjamin Bechtel.
Philip Keyser with a very slow spin there, just losing it at very slow speed. Matthew Santor-Sierra here having a moment as well, just dropping it down the inside. And we're going to go back to live pictures now because I have some news to report. I have some things I would like to share with you, and that is LMP2s are still heating it up here in the front.
Indeed, as Max Poe is trying to chase down Kel Haugen here, with Kel Oroz just knocking at his door, trying to get through. This isn't the best spot to overtake here on this track, as now we hop on board with the number 90, and that's a nice tap, and they both go for a spin, synchronized spinning, and ooh, that was rough, and that was kind of a risky rejoin there from Kale. But luckily, no more damage was done, and he lets him back through. That was the correct thing to do. And speaking of Max Poe, wasn't he the driver that was absolutely dominating in GT3 the other day as we get another view of the spin?
He is indeed. He is the exact one that you're thinking of. And a lot of drivers this week decided to take the second half of the season. Maybe GT3 wasn't working out for them. Maybe they just weren't having fun. Maybe, they've just practiced a bit more in the LMP2, whatever it might be. A lot of drivers this week decided to make that step up. And I'm very, very happy to see it here. Checking back in with the GT3 AMs, the Diet Right number 523 of Maxwell Woodman C is currently on the charge in P6 and is trying to chase down Matt Toppin, who is up 8 positions so far on the day, up into P number 5 in GT3. And Bob Carey, let's right on board with Bob Carey for a minute here. Bob Carey said earlier he wasn't super fast at this track. I would argue that Bob Carey has put himself in a good position here early on with the alternate pit strategy, but Bob Carey is kind of showing us what GT3 traffic is going to do to everyone, because we haven't hit the point where traffic is mixing up yet. We're close. Don't get me wrong, we are getting a little bit close here to where that 095 of Caruso is going to start lapping traffic, but we're not there yet.
Indeed, but luckily, like we said earlier, there's a good amount of spots for these LMP2s to go ahead and overtake that lap traffic. And speaking of overtaking lap traffic, you spoke it into existence, as Alex Caruso, now going down to Lewis Hamilton straight himself, is currently catching up to the back of the LMP, up to the GT3s. And a bit of a snap there as he's trying to get around that McLaren there as he goes ahead and makes his way through. He is trying to still get around that McLaren. He finally gets it done, but how much time did he lose to Antonio Costa? I guess we'll find out. Didn't seem like too much time, really. Maybe a 10th at most, as we still follow Alex Caruso, the 095, making his way. Now here we go. Here is a battle here. It is Benjamin Bechtel and David Moore with Kyle O'Grady directly behind. And then just behind them is Eric Mack, who's going to look for safe passage through. As Kyle O'Grady does go wide, Eric Mack goes on through. And the LMP2 car clearing the traffic. Now he's got to clear Benjamin Bechtel, which he does with ease. And the number 19 is on his big return.
Great use there from Eric Mack down the inside of Cop's corner, knowing that he has the extra downforce. He can take Cop's much more aggressively than the GT3s can, go up the inside, and great awareness there from Bechtel and Grady to leave the room for Eric Mack to try to charge his way forward. Great decisions from everyone. Another decisions being made right now. Matt Toppin, Christopher Ondera battling things out. Ondera in the Webermobile dropping back a position here and going down into 5th as Matt Toppin had a great side-by-side moment. And behind them, Woodman C is battling it out while he watches Wedderburn and Chiapuzzo back behind. And now the Lamborghini driver trying to have a lot of good runs. He is the sole Lamborghini in the field currently, and he is really trying to put that car to work, while behind him we keep going side by side. Chiapuzzo up the inside, Wedderburn going around, outside turns to inside, turns to outside, turns to inside here at Silverstone. Lots of back and forth corners. Great heads up driving there from Wedderburn to not get into the corner of Chiapuzzo. They continue around, coming through out of Aintree. They go down towards the hangar straight here. Let's just see what they can put together. And sorry, no, this is the Wellington Straight, not the Anchor Straight. This is the Wellington Straight. Don't yell at me, British Silverstone fans.
Well, that reminds me of the time I did get in trouble with the British for making the #1 mistake about commentating around this track. So, if any of you fancy getting into commentary and you want to learn Silverstone, rule number 1, never use corner numbers, use corner names. Typically you would use corner numbers, just not here. But yes, that was a very good battle between the two. Chiapuzzo, always a very solid battler, and Andre Wedderburn proved to be a very excellent battler himself. And yeah, it's been a pretty good race. He's actually catching up to the sole raging bull here, Maxwell Woodman C, in the 523. Does have Parker Chiapuzzo for company, so this would be for P6 in class, as the number 25 McLaren tries to chase through. But there is an LMP2 on a magnificent return, and he's going to try to go ahead and get past these two, but with a hard Maxwell Woodman C and Parker Chiapuzzo are fighting it out. This task is going to be a bit easier said than done, as he's going to go ahead and go late braking into the club corner. Eric Mack still carving his way through traffic into P15 overall, and he is still trying to chase that magnificent return to the front of the field.
Already 20 minutes into this race, this is the one thing I'll say with Silverstone, is that these races always feel like they go much faster than a lot of other tracks through the season. So kind of seeing things, how they stand at the moment, looking through up and down the field, everybody trying to hold on here where they can. Eric Mack working his way up, down, inside, working his way, carving through. Meanwhile, right behind him, so if you're wondering where Alex Caruso is, there's Alex Caruso, there's Eric Mack. One more time, there's Eric Mack, there's Alex Caruso. So Caruso, our LMP2 leader, is into the thick of it at the moment here in that 095, now coming around our favorite Lamborghini driver of all time, our only Lamborghini driver of all time. Put some respect on that Lamborghini here of Maxwell Woodman C. And Woodman C will see the leader to the inside there is Seth Bosselman, if that was who I think that was way off the road there, having a very slow moment. I think just trying to stay out of trouble, and that might have cost him a little bit more, as there goes one of the devil beaters up the inside. Antonio Costa working his way through, apostling the times, trying to find his way forward. 2.6 seconds now, 2.5 seconds now, the gap between Caruso and Costa as they go through. And for those of you who are asking in YouTube chat, yes, Max Poe is one of our drivers that has moved up into LMP2. So give Max Poe a little bit of love here and a bit of congratulations, stepping it up here to the prototype class.
I mean, he had a fantastic drive in the GT3 at Road America. So, I mean, Max Poe has been a fantastic driver. Good to see him graduating up to the LMP2 category. And when you have a multi-class series like this, one of my favorite things, alongside battles like we're seeing here with Paul Nice Sr. trying to go ahead and take the fight to, or actually no, he's trying to keep the fight away from Tyler Stenick. Paul Nye, the donut guy, is trying to be the guy that's still in P4 at the end of this. Tyler Stenick trying to go ahead and replace him. We'll see if he can go ahead and get that move done and dusted. Not quite yet. He's going to have to wait just a bit longer before he can go ahead and try to make that move as we go through the hairpin of the field before going onto Woodcote. And as I was saying earlier, it's always really awesome to see drivers from the GT3 category go ahead and get promoted up to the LMP2 class, because sometimes they can do pretty well. And for his first time in LMP2, at least here at Elbows Out, Max Poe is doing a pretty good job here.
Yeah, he's doing a great job here. Another driver I'm going to give a shout out to, part of it is contractual obligation. Part of it is because, well, anytime you're going to run a PTR TV logo on a car, you're going to get some screen time here. Brendan McManus, first time in the league and first time driving the LMP2 in iRacing. I said this at the top of the broadcast. I'll say it one more time. First time driving the LMP2 in iRacing, but is here, is showing off, and threw a good paint scheme on him. Somebody did, at least. I'm not going to say it was me, but I won't deny and I won't not take the credit for it as we go through, continue along. Let's check back in with the thick of the battle here, where we go and watch Max Poe currently trying to get around the Porsche of Benjamin Bechtel with a great pass there through. Bechtel trying to hold on, and Bechtel with a big slide. Big save there coming into Maggots and Beckett's.
That was a very scary slide, but an impressive save there from the number 28 Porsche as they're going to go under the Johnny Walker Bridge as Kayla Rose goes ahead and gets on through. After that, he's got to pretty much take the fight to the McLaren. He has to back out and let the LMP2 go ahead and make his way through. That is the LMP2 of Fozilo, I apologize. But, I mean, man, Benjamin Bechtel still putting on a fight, trying to get past it. Oh, it's a bit of a checkup there from the LMP2 of Fozzy. But Benjamin Bechtel still holding on. But how much time did he lose to the car ahead?
So much time there. Now watch this behind here. Benjamin Bechtel going through. Dayton McGuire sends it up the inside behind them. That is Zach Tebow sending it around. There's a big off from somebody here. just ahead, heading down into the corner. Where is that one from? And that was Maxwell Woodmansee, the Lamborghini out here. Let's get a quick replay of how this one happened, and then we're going to do it through the field to see what happened. Woodmansee with a slide, a run, and joins in there on Andre Wedderburn. Wedderburn not able to save it. Woodmansee off. Wedderburn able to get going, but Woodmansee with entirely too much front end damage. You see that wheel absolutely towed out in a way it should not be. And unfortunately for him, that spells disaster. Back to live pictures here now, ladies and gentlemen. 36 minutes left to go and counting. I want to do a quick little through the field here as we're approaching half race distance as we go. Let's start with the GT3 Imps here in Patrick. It's been a great run from Ethan Murphy so far. He started in first, he stayed in first, and he's doing everything right. 19 seconds to the good over Matt Toppin.
Indeed, yeah, I mean, he's currently P2 in the Drivers' Championship, just behind his teammate of Christopher Ondero, so this is going to do wonders for him in his championship hunt. But yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic drive for him today, doing everything he needs to, and he's got a massive gap, so he can pretty much just kind of cruise around and just do hot laps here. Practice for maybe if they do a 24 Hours of Silverstone around this track at some point in iRacing. He's certainly getting his practice laps in, that's for certain. He does go ahead and let Alex Caruso through, but he wasn't in a battle with anyone, so it really didn't hurt him much, if at all.
Absolutely. Matt Toppin here in second place, up 11 places on the day. Ondera started P3, has stayed P3. A couple other drivers to watch here. Chiapuzzo here in fourth is up 10. Christian Cardona here in fifth is up 12. So in the AMs, you have a lot of big movers up, a lot of big movers down to watch out for. In the GT3 Pros, here is how we currently stack up going through on the runs. Coming up on your screen now. If English could work for me, that would be absolutely amazing, but I'm asking a little bit too much sometimes, I think, here. Peter Nodwell, your current leader here, started in the lead, stayed in the lead. You can see in GT3 Pro, it's been much more stable. I don't want to say it hasn't been a chaotic race, but it's been much less of a crazy up and down of heartbreak and victory for all of these drivers going through. So you can see at the moment, Nodwell started on pole, has led every lap so far, has led 25 minutes of this 60-minute race here, and is just currently coasting his way forward. We'll see how he does continuing along, and at the moment, he stays out at least one more lap. We're starting to see pit stops cycle through, though.
Indeed, I mean, typically this is where you would see a pit stop happen, is right around half race distance. You do have to take a brand new set of all four tires when you come into the pits here at Elbows Out Racing. But the big question mark to me is still Bob Carey. He pitted in only 7 minutes into the race, so are we going to see a surprising strategic masterclass here from the number 280? I guess we'll have to find out, because, I mean, traffic management is a big part of this race. Also, having your car going in the right direction is a big part of this race. But also getting your strategy right can also play a huge factor in tonight's race. So, we'll see how it goes.
When the great strategy comes into play, you know it's a great race. And that is kind of where I always find it with Silverstone. It's one of those things that if it's not the weather, it's the strategy. And right now, I think we're going to be fortunate that the British weather is not going to rear its ugly head. As bad as I would love some rain here at Silverstone, it'd be such a quintessential Silverstone. It's just not meant to be. Of course, the weather's set well before the season start, randomly generated, and decided out all the way back. We've known since week one there'd be no weather, but I can still be mad about it, right? I'm still mad about it. Checking in with LMP2s on a topic that's not going to get me fired from this broadcast. Alex Caruso here in the 095, leading by 5.5 seconds, right where he started. The top three have stayed stable. Antonio Costa, who is usually so dominant, so quick, and usually the devil beater is the one trying to be beaten, currently running in P2. Luke Patrick, third place, hanging on here. Another new face to this league, but is having a great time here for West Coast Racing. Cody Perodato is a half second back here. He's up 2 places on the day. He's trying to find the third place up into the podium places. Not able to at the moment here. Hugo Ortiz is carrying a penalty. And I hate to tell you, that's track limits that's come out to bite them here. 17 incident points there, and you get a drive-through penalty for track limits. Every 10 after that, you get another drive-through. Something I didn't think was really going to play in, but it is track limits, and this will be Hugo Ortiz. Did he get slowed down? Did he get slowed down? Because that was a little bit questionable.
Yeah, you can even see those front tires locking up as the number 72 makes its way into the pits. Gonna start the drive-through now. I guess we'll know in due time if there is another penalty here for Hugo Ortiz, but yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. I mean, yeah, this isn't necessarily a track that I think of when you think about track limits, but sometimes if you push a little too hard, you use the curbs a bit too much, then you get slapped with a penalty for your efforts. And sometimes even if you just have to avoid traffic a bit too much, you can just go over those track limits. Got to keep your car within the white lines if you want to stay out of getting penalized. But we're going to see if Cody Peredato can make his way up into P3, and Luke Patrick wants him to stay out of P3. And I think this would be, I'll have to fact check this real quick, but I think this might actually be one of the only races of the season where Peredato was not on the podium if you can't get past Luke Patrick here.
I think you're right on that, but I'm going to let you fact check me on that because I'm not for sure here. Looking at some of the races through the rest of the season, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in what's coming up later in the season. So we are looking at Long Beach next week and then Road Atlanta the week after that, Petit Le Mans with a little bit of rain projected for Petit Le Mans. VIR on the 20th of August, 27th of August is the Hockenheim Ring. And we'll end out the season with a 90-minute road race at IMS when it's all said and done. I think that'll be a great one to watch as well and see how things go. Some pit stops have happened. I do want to be clear. Some pit stops have happened here. Not a lot of pit stops have happened, though.
And Indeed, and actually...
Well, I just opened my mouth and the floodgates opened, so disregard anything I was about to say there. Because here's Chris Stewart in, here's Martin Merkfa in, here is Ethan Murphy in going through. Did he? He got in the box. Good job there. Peter Nodwell has been in for an extended period at the moment. So, yeah, I said something, and then they all showed up. Hugo Ortiz is in the pits. Or he was showing, no, that's where he just went through the lane. So multiple drivers into the pits here going through as they come around, and that's going to mix things up greatly at the moment for all of these drivers. Joel Bandera has already had to serve a penalty. Jean McClellan has been in here. So tons of things mixing up here at the moment, really making this race shake up, but only about a third to half the field has pit yet. We still have majority of the LMP2s to pit. We still have a good chunk of the GT3 Pros to pit, and only the top 5 or so of the GT3 AMs left to pit at the moment. So what you're seeing on your screen here, Patrick, isn't accurate, but it is really interesting to kind of see where it's at right now. Indeed,
yeah. So as I'm still looking through, so there's been one race where Antonio Costa hasn't been on the podium, and that was Road America, actually, with the other podium spots being taken up here by Austin Diltz and Cale O'Rose. But so far, it looks like Cody Peredato might have been on the podium for every single event. So I'll continue looking into this, but that would be a really interesting stat if Peredato was unable to get onto the podium. But it looks like that stat would have to get kind of buried because he did get past Luke Patrick at some point, unless Luke Patrick actually made a pit stop while I was checking that information. But, I mean, still just shows how consistent this Double Beater Motorsport group has been, because I think collectively they have been on the podium every single time, at least one or the other. I believe so, yes, and it's so exciting to kind of see just the consistency get mixed up. And you know, we might talk to them later and they might say, hey, that's just Silverstone. I mean, you know, this was an off track for us, nothing we can do. Or they might come through and they might say, hey, yeah, no, we have competition now. We have to step up our game. Regardless of what they say, it's going to be really interesting to kind of see how it plays out for them, because this is such a
interesting moment here to see. Luke Patrick, again, still chasing down Cody Peredato here. We were focusing on Tyler Stenick and Paul Nye Sr. there for a moment as they were going through, and I will tell you right now, looks like we've had some moments here. I'm going to try to get an idea of what these moments have been. This registered as an incident for Vosselman, but I mean, as you can see, there was no incident. So I have a feeling that, well, there was a light off track there, but I wouldn't call that a major moment. Same thing here for Tyler Cook, who is running Culver's car, very clearly a fan of the Butter Burger. So basically what's happening here is it seems like when a lot of these guys slow down heading towards pit entry, it is queuing up as if they have wrecked, but they haven't. So, yeah, we'll see. I'll try to keep an eye on if guys have any big moments here going through, dropping down, like Peter Nodwell, who right on time has had a moment. Looks like he's gotten away, though. I think that was just a brake lock up there, heading down into... that's Luffield. He's coming out of Woodcote now, heading towards Cops Corner. He's managed to catch it up here. Patrick, I gotta ask, you know, if you're running through and you're watching as the GT3 Pro leaders are in, I was gonna say, when do you pit at this point? We're under 30 minutes to go. How long do you stretch your stint before you pit?
I would maybe try to push it to the 20-minute mark at the absolute maximum. I would probably... honestly, I probably would have pitted pretty much right at the 30-minute mark if it were me. But if I was really trying to go for a good overcut, maybe the 23s would be a good stopping point. 25s is also a pretty valid one, but it would just, I guess it would just depend on how my car is feeling. If I could feel that my car is basically running off of hopes and dreams at that point, if my tires are starting to come apart at the seams, then I would have definitely pitted right now. But otherwise, I might have gone on for about another lap or two.
I definitely agree with that, too. I would probably be running to about the 20-minute mark personally, split it up to a 40-minute, 20-minute race. I think that's a good number to aim for when it's all said and done here. Three-car battle here in the LMP2 category. It's Max Poe. It's Aiden Garcia here, 0.8 of a second back, trying to deal with traffic. It's Cale Orzo, who is going to be trying to make a move here. Now we have a blink, though. What do you do when you have a blinker through? You kind of have to hope and pray. Aiden Garcia coming through. Cale not able to get past. And at the moment, Cale will hold P8. But he had an absolutely bloody good run out of Cops Corner. And he was going for the run down into Mackett's and Beckett's. And then Aiden Garcia pulled the Houdini car, and, well, I think Cale picked a good decision and backed out of that one for the moment, but he's not going to be done.
He's going to get another chance. I mean, he's getting fantastic slipstreams off of Aiden Garcia as he makes his way through the club corner. He's going to go ahead and try to get a good run out of the Hamilton straight, maybe trying to make this move going into Abbey. But probably the best spot for him to really try to get this move done is down the Wellington straight just after Aintree. Yeah, he's not close enough. Got too much real estate in between the two LMP2s as there is a GT3 just on the outside. He's going to go ahead and get close. He is very close. Making his way through Village, going through the loop and approaching Aintree now. And after this corner, after Aintree, then this is a really good chance. He's got to go ahead and put the foot to the floor, pedal to the metal. He's got to get a go on here. Got to run and try to go off the runway like this track used to be an airfield base. So Cale is trying, but he's just unable to get the move done. Not quite enough real estate to get the move done. Cale, but I mean, he's putting a lot of pressure on him. And I know I've heard some people say pressure is for tires. But if you put enough pressure on, somebody can make a mistake.
Well, and my question with this really becomes the case of, you know, what do you really do in this situation? We have a pass for P3. Luke Patrick, after so much time, has finally cleared Cody Peredato. And also,
that is massively impressive.
Paul Nye has had a moment. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Paul Nye Sr. has had a moment and had to tow to the pits. Let's check in what happened to Paul. So he's already missing his rear wing, so he missed the first half of this incident here, really. So I'm going to do something I don't like doing live usually, but I'm going to do it. There it is.
Oh.
So let's catch what happened to Paul Nye Sr. here. Snap with the rear end of the car down the Hamilton straight.
Ooh!
And then he lost the rear wing. And then, no rear wing, way too fast. Nothing you can do there. Coming out.
Yeah, you're missing so much.
Yeah, no, that is game over for him. We go back to live pictures. You can see him sitting in the pits. But again, Luke Patrick has managed to get past Cody Peredato into P3. That is the big headline right now.
Yeah, I got to give a lot of credit here to Luke Patrick here. I mean, he's had this is his first time racing here at Elbows Out Racing, jumping straight to the LMP2 class. And he is making a name for himself here. P3, overtaking the championship leader and denying him what is potentially the first time we have not seen Peredato on the podium. I know in recent weeks we've gotten pretty accustomed to talking to Cody Peredato here in the box, but he might not even get a podium this time around. And I mean, 2 newcomers come in, and there's obviously more newcomers that joined LMP2 and the GT3 classes, but you have 2 of the newcomers on the podium here, with Antonio Costa being the last of the old guard to really stay on this podium. So these newcomers have really spiced things up this season, and I think we'll see a lot more of these drivers on the podium.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's going to be so interesting just to kind of watch and see how this season shakes up. And also, I want to point out kind of the field spread that we have. We have, 15 LMP2s. We have 13 GT3 Pros, 18 GT3 AMs. We have a very well evenly spread thick field through here as well, which I think is going to make things get interesting as it goes through. And also, I want to point out here that for a brief moment, Luke Patrick is up into P2 because Alex Caruso, our race leader, has decided to pit with about 19 minutes 45 seconds to go.
Yeah, but the question now becomes, when does everybody else pit? Because our top 3 now haven't pit in yet. The Devil Beater Motorsports guys and Luke Patrick have yet to make a pit stop, so
they have to respond.
It'll be interesting. They have to respond, yeah. Otherwise, they might end up behind some of the other drivers. We might even see both of these Devil Beater Motorsport drivers out of a podium, which I know for a fact would be a first to see neither one of them on the podium. Usually it's one or the other. I mean, they're P1 and P2 in this championship for a reason. This team has been very consistent. If you looked up the word consistent in the dictionary, it'd have their picture right next to it.
That it would. It's been so interesting to kind of see how they've done here. I mean, you just sort of have to wait and see at the moment is really where we're at. 18 minutes, 50 seconds left to go. And I tell you what, we've kind of made it tradition every Wednesday here to do temporarily loud engines. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube, I have heard you. Leave the overlay on during temporarily loud engines. I have heard you. And we shall do the thing as Cody Peredato goes up the inside of Luke Patrick. I think Luke Patrick gave him that pass easy because he wants to follow him into the pits here. Kayla Rose is very quickly being challenging on Aiden Garcia coming through, but I think LMP2s, this is going to be the time for all of their pit stops to come down. And let's see if everyone follows that lead. Luke Patrick was in. Going through, we're coming around a section of the track here for Aiden Garcia, where I would expect to see him go through. No, he will stay out another lap. Kayla Rose will stay out another lap. They are the only 2 cars that have not pit yet as they go through, and they will move up in positions on the track as everyone else is in. But your race leader at the moment, Alex Caruso, does get through and going. There is Antonio Costa just now exiting the pits. There is Alex Caruso heading down towards Village in the loop. And this is where we find Antonio Costa will stabilize that gap here in just a second as they exit Aintree. But right now it shows 5.5 seconds, and then it's another 10 seconds back to Cody Peredato. So big time losses and gaps around, but Cody Peredato has jumped Luke Patrick. That gap 2 seconds. What can Luke do with the fresh tires? Patrick, this is going to be a battle on our hands for P3.
Well, I think we kind of got our answer. I think we got our answer on what can Luke Patrick do on these cold tires? The answer is go ice skating a bit. A bit unfortunate there for Luke Patrick, but it seemed like, he lost a wealthy amount of time, but he didn't lose any positions, but that might be his podium dreams kind of biting the dust here, which is very unfortunate for the 121.
What an actual wild race this is. And every week we have something happen that just turns this on its side. And this week it is that. Going through 16 minutes left to go. We're going to give GT3 some love this week. What GT3 are we giving love to?
In the YouTube chat, the most recent bit of support has been for Julius, so I think we'll give him some love today.
All right, where is Julius Machevsky here at the moment? Where are you at, Machevsky? Here you are. P7, McLaren, good taste. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is here. It's Temporarily Loud Engines time. Hang out. Don't go anywhere. We're going to let you enjoy a couple of laps. Well, maybe not a couple of laps. Be a little too long. We're going to let you enjoy some time here on board with Julius as Julius takes you around this iconic Silverstone circuit. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from your run of Temporarily Loud Engines. Kind of becoming a staple here for me for Elbows Out Racing, because it's just fun. And much love to Julius Machevsky here for letting us ride on board for a lap, and also for helping me pronounce your name and remember my Polish forever ago. So much appreciated. Battles up front here, Max Poe, Aiden Garcia, and Zach Tebow. This is a 3-car battle. This is the battle for P number 6 in LMP2. It's myself, Brad Dalton, here alongside Patrick Coleman, the wrecker. Mr. Patrick here. How do you feel about this race? 11 minutes left to go. We were just talking there during the quick break. This has felt like such a quick race. I almost wonder if we should have made this the 90-minute race.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it feels like we've only been through 30 minutes of the race, but we've been through over 3/4 of this race. I mean, it's Silverstone. I don't know what else you could say about it. It's always going to be a good time when you come to the home of British motorsport. And we've seen some good battles here. We've seen some excellent masterclasses in strategy, traffic management. I know we say traffic giveth and traffic taketh away a lot here on Primetime TV, but there it goes. It took away a bit of traction there from Aiden Garcia. He turns his car into a Beyblade, and man, oh man, we've seen a few drivers actually kind of lose it there on that corner. Right there on Abbey, we've seen it kind of happen. Like in between Abbey and Farm Curve, we've seen quite a few cars spin out there.
That we have, and it's such a weird place to really see, because I don't feel like you usually see people spin there, but these cars, you know, you're shifting, you've got the weight shift transfer, you've got the grip transferring. It kind of produces some interesting moments, honestly. Another battle to check in here, speaking of moments, is the GT3 battle for P5 between Merkva and Stewart that has started to heat up here. Gap between them about half a second and maintaining right now.
Indeed. And we know Martin Merkva does have some usually very consistent pace, and he is doing a very good job right now, currently chilling out in P5. He does have Chris Stewart directly behind him, a fellow McLaren driver, looking to jump into the top 5 here as he's going to go ahead and try to make his way through. We'll see if he can go ahead and get it done, but I mean, it's all to play for here as we hit the 10-minute mark of this race.
Yeah, as it continues along, we're just going to wait and see how this plays along, because it's going to be very interesting to just kind of get the last 10 minutes here. This is where drivers tend to really get things going, and this is where things, you know, become so charged. Words. Why am I struggling with words here? But this is really the moment where things get exciting for everything, because the drivers will either do one of two things. They'll just coast to the end and they'll sort of breathe through, or they're going to really turn it up.
I mean, we're on an airfield base, so it makes sense for these drivers to want to turn up the afterburners and just take off here. Try to get as many positions as humanly possible now. If you want to talk about a driver who has really taken off in this race, the rookie driver of Alex Caruso, now 10 seconds ahead of both of the championship leaders of Cody Paradotto and Antonio Costa. This man's flying through the circuit right now. He is overtaking every car in sight, and I mean, the driver from Hyperion Racing pretty much just said, okay, I'll see you guys later, and just checked out and was never really to be seen again.
I mean, when you hit this point, too, I mean, the amount of confidence that this gives you as a driver when you've got this much of a gap ahead and you don't have to think about a doggone thing. You're in the rhythm and all you're doing is driving. It's such a great feeling. Like, I can't explain it, but you know you've got this race on lock, and there is nothing that can take it away from you. It's so great. Now, granted, Antonio Costa is closing a little bit of time here. Gap came down to 9.5, but now it's right back up to 10. So that sort of sets us up for where we're at here in the moment and where things sit through. Now, check in with Aiden Garcia here, who is putting some pressure in on Hugo Ortiz. Gap a tenth of a second, looks for a move here, going down, and not able to get the pass at the moment, but certainly giving it the old college try.
Yeah, Aiden Garcia is still trying to recover from that spin as we came back from the temporarily loud engines. He's going to try, though, in that SR Racing, similar to the GR Racing of Toyota. He's trying to go and get past Hugo Ortiz here. I mean, he's pretty much right of the gearbox of the 072, and these drivers are fighting tooth and nail. They are fighting so hard, like it is a UFC championship match here at Silverstone. The 799 trying to chase down the 072, and I mean, they're about to go down the Wellington Straight just after Aintree there, and good on Hugo Ortiz. He's been putting up a good fight, still within that top 10, even after the drive-through penalty he had to serve earlier. I don't think he got another penalty, unless he might have gotten another penalty for speeding in the pit lane earlier. But Hugo Ortiz, while he's on track, is still doing fantastic work, keeping Aiden Garcia behind.
Hey, he's doing a great job here so far, and I hate to report, but Hugo Ortiz has been slapped with another penalty now for track limits violation, so he has another drive-through to serve here, and that is heartbreaking for him. Nothing he can do about it, though. That is just kind of the nature of the beast where he's found himself, and that will relegate things to Aiden Garcia. Aiden Garcia will move up into P8, but for Hugo, I mean, it's a question of what could have been, and what could have been for Eric Mack here today as well. I have to ask, if Eric Mack hadn't have had that spin early on, where would that Golf car be? Because at the moment, it's well out of position, you have to argue, in P13, not at all where he should be in class going through. But it's where he finds himself at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have a moment at the beginning of the race and you really just can't catch back up, especially with how competitive this field is here. I mean, we know Eric Mack is a championship level driver. We know that for a fact. There is not a single question about how good Eric Mack is. He's shown it in GTP last season, LMP2 this season, but so far it's just not been the race, or honestly overall, it's really been a season for Eric Mack. He's down in 9th in the championship right now, so English is not my strong suit either. Him and his teammate Cameron are down in P9 and P10 with Big Racing. So Big Mac not having a big season here so far, but once again, we're pretty much in the second half of the season right now, so a lot of time for him to go ahead and turn it around, as we are now on board with Chris Stewart, who is going to try to chase down the fellow McLaren of Martin Merkva. He's been trying to chase it for a few laps now.
Yeah, this gap here has been pretty consistent at about half a second, with Julius Mashevsky about half a second or so behind that. That's been fluctuating up and down as they go along, so I've been trying to just sort of keep my eyes on that, where they stand. Aiden Garcia is still trying to chase down Hugo Ortiz. We're jumping between a couple of different battles now here with about 4 minutes left to go. Call it about 3 laps of racing left to go, and all the while these battles continue. It's 11 seconds the lead for this driver right here, Alex Caruso, who has just showed up and is showing out. Antonio Costa here in P2. What could have been for him, again, is the question. He'll be going back to the drawing board after this week. He's going to be thinking, okay, new guys are here, new talent stepped up, I've got to step up. Colin Bourdon, a great run today here, going through a 3-second lead over Tyler Stenick, but for Tyler Stenick and that number 1 is going to want more. He wants to move forward. He wants to find more time, and he's certainly going to try to step himself up. Ethan Murphy here has had a great day. 38 seconds in the good. I don't even know how you get a 38-second class lead as a GT3 Ethan Murphy to Parker Chiapuzzo. It is ridiculous to see that sort of time frame come out from that run, but for Parker Chiapuzzo, I mean, he's going to want more. He's going to be trying to scratch through. This has just been a race that I think a lot of these guys are going to take home and really just drive and push for next week. Whenever we come through next week, they're going to be showing up ready to go. And again, as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, next week is Long Beach, and that, you want to talk about a hard track. That is a hard track for so many different reasons to Silverstone. We go from this wide, sweeping, angled, perfectly flowing former British air base that served during the wars to a narrow street circuit that if you just flinched the steering wheel the wrong way, you're going to cause a massive pileup, the akin to the Daytona 500. So what do you do there at Long Beach that you can't do here? You better be on your P's and Q's. If you have any sort of lack of confidence, you better figure it out before then.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, we know Long Beach is basically the endurance racing equivalent of Monaco here, although I would argue Long Beach is still a better track. But regardless, like you said, the walls there take no prisoners, and if you even breathe funny on that track, you're in a wall and you are out of the race. There is no real recovery. And even then, even if you don't make a mistake, if somebody in front of you makes a mistake, with this track, there's a lot of runoff, a lot of grass, a lot of gravel, and a lot of places you can go and take avoiding action. Long Beach, you do not have that availability. If someone messes up in front of you, your only hope is just to pray and do your best, because you're probably going to get taken out too.
It's so interesting to just watch how these drivers handle things out here. 1:20 left to go, and Alex Caruso, again, 10.5 seconds in the lead here with a great run. Everybody has sort of stabilized out. The only battle on track that I see at the moment is Merkva versus Stewart versus Machevsky here in the battle for P5 and GT3 Pro. Everything else has really stabilized out. And again, you get those sort of moments here at the end of the race. At the tail end of the race, one of two things can happen. It can either get absolutely competitive and you end up with like too many battles to watch and 40-car battles and things are all over the place, or things can really stabilize down into what it is now and guys just sort of want to get to the end. It looks like here we're getting the latter rather than the former. I do also want to give a shout out to our drivers who have not made it to the end of this race and unfortunately have DNF'd out. Dayton McGuire, Andre Wedderburn, Paul Nye Sr., Christian Cardona, Joel Bandera, Brendan McManus, Aiden Toohey, Nathan Hemperly, Jonathan Lanton. Unfortunately, those drivers have DNF'd out of the event here at some point during this race, and they will not be finishing this race. But for the 37 that have, it's been a wild 60 minutes, I gotta say. Morgan Smith here, speaking of wild 60 minutes, has decided with 40 seconds to, well, no time left to go on the clock. He wants to try to find things through. Final lap around here. And for Alex Caruso, he will get one more victory lap here around Silverstone. Nobody can take this away here, Patrick. 11 seconds to the good. He's just got to finish it up through Mackett's and Beckett's.
Indeed, he's making his way through the final few corners on his final tour of the track. For the final time, he's going to touch down the hanger straight, going into Stowe. And I mean, this has been a fantastic drive for the rookie. Expect to see him at minimum on the podium more often as he makes his way through Vale. He has some GT3 cars ahead. They will be of no concern to the number 95. Making his way through the club corner now. He's pretty much just got the home straight left to go. The rookie driver has made a fantastic impression, and Alex Caruso wins the Complacency Kill 60 here at Silverstone Raceway. What a drive!
Great drive from him coming through, and Colin Bourdon with 1.6 seconds to good over Tyler Stenick gets that Mercedes across the line here. He is going to win here in GT3 Pro over Tyler Stenick. Coming through, Ethan Murphy with about 2 tenths behind him to Brian Metterly, but that's Pro versus Am driver. No competition there for him in class. Nearest driver in class, 40 seconds back. He has no issues. There's a little tap there as they're going for overall position. They cross the line. Eric Mack goes defensive, but Ethan Murphy will claim the GT3 AM win here at Silverstone. Great battles from everyone as they come through, and great runs all the way up and down. This race is not finished, though. We still have several positions that need to go through in LMP2. Morgan Smith here, half a second off of Fozzie Fazillo. You see Fozzie going defensive down the hanger straight underneath the Johnny Walker Bridge, trying to swerve through left, come back right. What can you do here? And the question in the moment, and the answer in the moment, is nothing. There is nothing that can be given to really save that one through. They'll come across the line as they please, but Morgan Smith, for a moment there, gave Fozzie a little bit of a fear, I'd say, coming across the line in the back.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, It's pretty scary stuff when you see your teammate just directly in your mirrors, but the two teammates will basically drive home in formation. A good debut here from Fozzie and Morgan. Can't wait to see what they bring in the future because, I mean, they got to the end of this very hectic race. So, I mean, I think it's a sign of good things to come. But they are jumping straight into the Lion's Den next week when we head to Long Beach. So, it'll be interesting because, like you said, those two tracks could not be any further apart from each other in terms of just track characteristics. So,
So interesting to kind of see how things play through. And Antonio Costa and Cody Perodotto, P2 and P3, what could have been for them? I mean, guys, I hate to tell them, competition's here.
yeah, I mean, honestly, Luke Patrick and Alex Caruso, oh, they're going to be the drivers to watch for the remainder of the season. I mean, honestly, I think they could probably close this gap up here and make Antonio and Cody sweat a bit. Because we know that pretty much the Devil Beater Motorsport drivers have really just, they've been long gone. They've pretty much beaten the competition. But now we have some newcomers here. I mean, Luke Patrick, until that moment just after the pit stop, he was in contention for that podium. And Alex Caruso basically just dominated this race with a near 12-second gap to the championship leaders. So I think the season just got a lot more interesting. And once again, that's a very high bar.
Amazing. Just beyond amazing. Let's get into the post-race results here, your unofficial results as they stand. After 32 laps here on the Complacency kills 60. I think I spelled that word right. I think I spelled complacency right. But if I didn't, I can't pronounce it anyways. Alex Caruso over Antonio Costa by 11.9 seconds. Cody Perodotto in P3. Luke Patrick, Kel Hagen, Max Poe, Zach Tebow, Aiden Garcia, Fozzie Fazillo, Morgan Smith, your top 10. From there, it was Hugo Ortiz, Kayla Rose, Bob Carey, Eric Mack, Brendan McManus, and Austin Diltz, your 16 LMP2 drivers taking on this race. GT3 Pro results as they stand. Colin Bourdon, Tyler Stenick, Peter Nodwell, Jean McLuhan, Martin Merkfa, Chris Stewart, Julius Mashevsky, Tyler Cook, Brian Metterly, Emily Milkey, Zachary Nerney, Paul Nye, the Donut Guy, and Joel Bandera, your 13 GT3 pros. And then in the AM category, we found Ethan Murphy up front over Chiapuzzo, over on Dara with Bechtel, Toppin, Grady, Santos, Sierra, Valsaman, Moore, Woodman, see your top 10. From there we go, Dwight Hibbs, Philip Keyser, Dayton McGuire, Andrew Wedderburn, Christian Cardona, Tui, Hemperly, Lanton, Panero, your 19 GT3 AMs to take things on. Now, who do we have available? Well, we don't have Colin Bourdon available, but he has sent me a message directly and said, I want to thank Dairy Queen, my mom, the guys and gals at the factory, and my mom again. I also want to thank Colin Bourdon's mom. I don't know why, but just thank you, Mom. So,
well, definitely a lot of support there for Colin Bourdon. So, I mean, also, I guess we'll ask him next time we see him. What blizzard did he get from Dairy Queen that he's shouting out Dairy Queen? Did they bring back the Red Velvet Blizzard? Because I know somebody would be very interested in that returning to the menu.
Yeah, you're probably talking about me, let's be honest here. Let's grab Ethan Murphy because I see Ethan Murphy is available here to talk. So I'm going to bring Ethan Murphy up first. And Patrick, I'm going to let you talk with Ethan Murphy here.
All right, Ethan. I mean, dude, you had a dominant race here at Silverstone. So congratulations on that. How did you find the track out there today?
Thank you guys, appreciate it. Yeah, it was great, man. I ran a lot of practice. Track was feeling really good. The McLaren, I mean, it's great in those high speed corners. It was fantastic around this track. I do want to say, I apologize to Paul. There was an incident in T1. I looked at the replay. I absolutely just turned across him. Very weird on cold tires, going too wide into turn one. Definitely a little sketchy. So glad we both made it out of there alive. But yeah, it was a great race. No mistakes. Kept the pace up, and yeah, great win.
Great win indeed. Now, we don't have the updated standings just for this race just yet, but that does close the gap here in the championship to your teammate of Christopher Ondera. So, I mean, you two are on top of the LMGT3 AM championship here. So, do you guys think that you're going to be able to keep up this group of solid performances going on through the rest of the season as we are officially in the halfway point?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, we named ourselves EOL squad at the beginning of the year, kind of side of Daytona, and this week, or last week, we had a podium in every race, at least one of us starting at the back. So it's been a great run so far. Christopher having another awesome race, Mr. Consistent out there. It's impressive. But next week, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how deep the field is. We had, well over 30 GT3s this week. Next week, I'll be starting at the back of the pack at Long Beach. So that's going to be real sketchy with, traffic, trying to navigate through the field and dealing with the LMP2s. It's going to be a real challenge next week, but get some practice in, try and, get some practice racing in, see how I can get through the field, but it's going to be tricky for sure.
Yeah, we were actually talking about earlier on the broadcast how different Silverstone is to Long Beach. And I was going to ask you about Long Beach, but you pretty much just answered my question there. So, yeah, it's a difficult track. And yeah, so hopefully you guys can still do good. I mean, you had a fantastic run here today. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for popping on in, asking or answering a few questions. And once again, congratulations on the dominant win.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. And from there, let's grab in our overall race winner here, Alex Caruso, the new kid on the block who's just decided to turn things upside down here, knocked the absolute devil out of the devil beaters. And Alex Caruso, welcome to Elbows Out Racing, putting that Hyperion Racing LMP2 on top. How's it feel, man?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, it feels great. I mean, the racing was really fun. Everybody behaved themselves really well, and it was nice having a couple guys with me at the beginning there. Antonio had some great pace, so it was awesome to see he was kind of hanging with me there at the start. I think just through traffic, I was a little bit quicker. But yeah, looking forward to seeing if he can keep close through the rest of the season as well.
Alex, where do I know you from? I know you from somewhere, and I've seen you around, and I can't think of where right off the top of my head.
Oh, man, I've been around. PRL, IVRA, 24-hour series recently. Lots of those.
Okay, yeah, PRL and IVRA, that would be what it is. So, man, I'm going to ask the question that we don't get to ask people a lot. How'd you find Elbows Out?
I can't remember, actually. I think somebody from my team might have passed an invite along. I'm not really sure. I didn't keep track of it, but I joined it probably a month or two back and then was just kind of looking around and saw the broadcast and thought it looks kind of fun and looking for something to keep me warm in between the other league seasons that we got going on. So it felt like a good fit at the right time.
Awesome, man. Well, it's great to have you here. And I got to ask, are you going to be back next week? And if so, it's Long Beach. How you feeling?
Man, honestly, I hate Long Beach a lot. I'll consider it. I might not make it next week. I've got a different league to run as well next week on Tuesday, but I might find some time on Wednesday, and then I'm trying to develop some setups for my other guys on my team. So we'll see. If I find some time, I'll hop in.
Well, man, Alex, it's awesome to see you here. Welcome to Elbows Out Racing. And before we let you go, anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, you guys, thank you so much for putting on a broadcast. I know that's a huge devotion on your time, and it really adds a lot of value to the league and really gets everybody excited. So thank you both very much for being there for their entire race, making it exciting for the audience and for all of us racers who get to go back and watch it afterwards. And then secondly, just want to shout out my team, Hyperion Racing. Those guys back on the team, they're always pushing hard and always working. So they keep me going. They keep me young. So I appreciate it. Just looking forward to representing them well for the rest of the season.
Awesome, Alex, man. Good to see you here. Congratulations on the win. And we'll catch up with you maybe next week. If not, hopefully the week after.
Sounds good. Thank you guys very much.
How nice to have Alex here. Coming out, showing up, showing off, and then openly admitting he hates Long Beach, which I think is going to be an interesting theme to set us up for next week here, Patrick. How do you think that's going to go next week?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. I know there's a few drivers that said they didn't like most sport a few weeks back, but some of them ended up doing really well. And it might be the same thing here at Long Beach, but with Long Beach, it's basically, like I said earlier, it's endurance racing Monaco, so not a lot of opportunities to pass. The margin of error is even smaller than it is here at Silverstone. It's going to be a fun race here in the broadcast booth, but it's going to be tricky for the drivers.
It's going to be... Oh, it's going to be a fun one next week. I'm going to have to get ready for some work for next week. But nevertheless, to get to next week, we have to get through the rest of this week. It's the season finale of Area iRacing tomorrow. Still, their next season plans have not been announced. I don't know them because they haven't been made yet. I can tell you that much. So if you're a fan of the Florida Estate Builders Pro Series, final race of the season at Charlotte is tomorrow. Be sure to come hang out with Corey and Hunter and check that out and see how it's going. And then, of course, Sunday night, it is going to be triple bypass racing. I've already forgotten where they're at. Oh, they're at Phoenix. They're in their championship round. So if you're interested in seeing that, make sure you jump in and join us on Sunday. And then, of course, next week we will be back for Long Beach. But to get there, we have to end this one. So on behalf of Patrick, my name is Brad. We've taken you start to finish. Be sure to join us for the next one where we're going to take you start to finish yet again. Good night.